I'll put in my very serious phone number there. And we're now pretty much done. That action is now completed. I've submitted that. And at this point, within a very small amount of time, I should be able to just relaunch Outlook and see the phone number change. Right, Bob? It's refreshing my workspace for me. And if I compose a new message, just refreshing the workspace. Oh, there it goes. I've got a new message there. That has been completed. That is now done. I think I jumped the gun there on the demo. Yeah, it's already in there for me. So within a couple of minutes there, I was allowed to go and change my phone number, make a request, and you can see right there that the phone number is now inputted to what I decided. Now, that was typically going to be a minimum 5-10 minute phone call, easily, if not more, let alone if I called the right place. And what if I had to call somebody and get escalated to another department, or get a hold of the mail admin, or something of that nature? Now, that's one thing, but what about an application? Let's just say I want to look for, maybe I'm missing Visio. You know, Bob, I appreciate you setting my machine up for me, but you know what? It's missing applications that I use for my job. So here I'm just going to quick search for the word Visio. There it is. I'm going to request Visio as an application. That's now gone off and said, oh, you know what? Jeff's a speaker. You know, he's doing some planning. He needs Visio for a tool there. Great. So he's got Visio. That's coming down. I've requested that. I'm going to refresh my workspace. Live. No log out. No log in. None of that activity at all. And pop. There it goes. A little application experience presented to the user as far as completion of the job. And you can see up here that I've got Visio available to me. And here it comes through FinOut. Delivered to me within minutes. Now, how many of you have actually been able to deliver Visio in that kind of request in under 5 minutes? I've just done a user request of an application, pre-approved, could have approval built in if it's required. And I've pushed that out, in this case in virtual format, down to the user with no phone calls, no help desk interaction, no desk-side visit with a CD or a pen drive. That is IT as a service. That is task automation. That is user context aware services. And I'll pass back to you. So I didn't break anything too, that was pretty good. I think you trusted the user to do some stuff there.
Yeah, but I took care of the technology.
Yeah,
that's the reason why you didn't break anything.
That's true. Yeah. Trust the user as far as you can throw them, right? Very difficult for you to throw very far.
So, because of the fact that now I have more time in IT to take care of more important stuff, I can focus on, okay, how do I get to this experience, to this IT as a service experience. So, what we have come up with is a new solution. Again, there you go. Sorry. A new solution. It's a free solution for all of you to use to analyze existing infrastructures. We call it the RES Baseline Desktop Analyzer. You will see it on the internet, www.analyzeyourdesktop.com. That allows you to look into your existing infrastructure, to do a discovery of the user contexts that are in your infrastructure, and get information, get extensive reports out of that discovery that you just did. So I first automated my entire infrastructure so my end users can take care of their own challenges like changing phone numbers, etc. Now I can start focusing on the new big step because I want to migrate to VMware. So the first step is that you roll out inside your existing infrastructure a very lightweight agent that is running inside the user context, and that will discover information about the user, about the context, about all the desktop items that he's using. That information can be uploaded to a free service on the internet, and the information will provide extensive reports. Jeff again will do a demo that will show you how that works on the website. So that is the way, the step that you can take next Monday if you're back in the office. So once I have the information about what people have today, then I can start managing and designing what they need tomorrow once I've migrated my users to a new infrastructure. So we talked about the context, we talked about based on rules composing what the user needs. So the workspace designer component allows you to discover those rules, discover the context, and propose the appropriate rules for you to create the same experience that they had yesterday on Windows XP, but then I apply those same rules on a new Windows 7 virtual machine. And they won't complain because we were able to discover how they use the workspace today. And we are able to provide them exactly the same capabilities.
Now this is not just a summary of what IT thinks those users are using. This is an understanding of the printers they're using, not just network but local printers, the applications they have installed and are using. That is a mix that is very unique actually in this case, because we're not thinking about what IT thinks they need to move forward for Win 7 or for their HVD or whatever the VDI deployment may be. We're putting them in the context of, well, what's that user going through today? And to give you just a little anecdote, we have some customers here in the US who have submitted reports of over 4,000 users to help them plan their migrations. And this is the heavy lifting at the front through a free service that can save you countless hours of time and give you critical decision points and data to make the right decisions, to make those migrations seamless. We're going to show you how it works in just a second.
So, critical decisions, there are a lot of tools that look at the device, and they assume that you have already chosen to go for VDI. But what if you were able to discover that you have a lot of mobile users? Then maybe VDI is not the one size fits all for your company. So we believe you have a mix of delivery infrastructures. Mobiles, iPads, desktops, virtual desktops. So you need to know how they use the desktop today. And then once you know that, you can use the discovery information to configure, to set up your new infrastructure. So it's not a report. It's not a lot of paper. It's information that you can import into the Workspace Manager. And the Workspace Manager will automatically configure this managed workspace. And then, once you have all the rules in place to create this personal experience that they have today, it's very easy to shift in new technology. Because the technology then just is a context rule. Instead of, oh, we're going to Windows 7, so we need to do a redesign of the desktop. And my personal experience is that those big redesigns of desktops always takes me a few weekends.
Let's do a demo. We're coming up on the end of the session, so let's take a look at what this looks like. And then I want to show you how you can take this and use it in your own time. Okay. Okay, so what we've got here is take you up to the experience up here. And while that's loading, I've got some internet connection there. So I'm just going to show you the sampler. So you can see here, if I can zoom right through. So I've got this thing called the desktop sampler, and we provide you guidance on how you could run this with syntax in login scripts, or how you can provide this inside of a management tool to run as a little package. I'm going to just simply run this. And what this will do is when you deploy this, it will have a little buffer built in for about 30 seconds to allow the user's experience to load on their current machine. So we're just going to give it a wait there, and as they log in, and allow them to make sure the profile's all loaded and services are started and apps are there and things. And in a few more seconds, I'm going to see a little text file show up there that I cannot open because it is actually encrypted. And this is information specific to, in this case, Bob. And then we take that and we upload it into the cloud where we do the analysis. That analysis is free. And there's the infrastructure experience there. So I can just go in here. I'm going to log in. And it's all set up there for me. Just going to log in quickly here for you. Time sensitive. And now, I'm into my sample experience. This is where I can download the sampler. And you can see we provide the script logic, the text file, the information you need, even an MSI if you want to install it that way, to do the actual analysis yourself. And once that little file's run, we now have an upload path here. And the next step is to analyze. I should see the file there now. There it is there. So there's the file that I would then upload. And I'll upload that file in here. I'll bother not doing the upload right now. And then we analyze the sample. And then finally, at the end of it, you get an email back in a few minutes. It's all running in a very high-performance cloud. We then at that point have an ability to look at the reports. And I got a few reports locally here, just time sensitive. So I want to make sure we actually have these all, a couple of local copies here already for you. And so we give you a collection of reports, and I'll just show you a highlight. This is a summary report, but what it gives us is things like the OS breakdown, the hardware, the types of hardware, the models, things like the screen resolution. You know, how many of you have an interest in that from an application or delivery of services that are respective of different types of hardware platforms, slates, mobile devices, etc. Memory installations, disk usage, the top 10 models, not just the vendors, the Dell, the IBM, etc., the actual models within them. Because we look down inside and we look at the low levels of hardware inventory and BIOS information. And we also look at the top 10 common applications most used. So this is not just what I mentioned before, the applications IT fired against those target systems. It's the user-installed applications as well, from a user experience, from a launch perspective. Top 10 rare apps, we get down into network stuff, domain membership, who's roaming, who's not, is it the primary machine or not, that kind of stuff. We get down into printers, are there local printers versus network printers installed. This is the kind of heavy lifting that can take you months and months of conversations with departments and lines of business and end users. We're just quietly running in the background. Why don't you quickly show how this comes into the workspace manager and do a quick conversation. So Bob had mentioned in that previous graphic how we can take the sample information from here, from this report, and look at it and help make some critical plan decisions. But we're not done there. This information that we can take from those thousands of users can be imported right into our workspace design experience to allow users to have a context-aware workspace design based on their lives, how they're working, the apps and the printers and things that they're running. And so we're just going to show you quickly here how within Workspace Manager we can import that data and help create workspaces. Go ahead, Bob.
So we have a workspace designer component in our management console. From this component I can select any of these desktop items. So I normally first want to look at the context of the user, and then I will manage and start configuring the other pieces. But I did look at the context already, so let's pick the application set. So then he will ask me where those sample files are that are already collected in the desktop center. And I simply select those files, and I let the desktop designer analyze those files. Now he's researching these files, looking at all the context rules inside those files that were discovered in the user context. He's looking at the applications that were found inside the user context. He takes into account the fact that the applications are actually being used, because you don't want to migrate applications that are not being used. And then he provides me a list of applications that I want to start managing as of today. So I select the applications itself.
With usage data. We're ranking these here based on usage, right? So this is the top used application, for example.
And then he asks me, okay, what application do you want to use for the access principles, for the context rules that I have to link to this application? Then he will propose to me, look, I have found this application and I see that only people in New York are actually using this application. Or I see that only people in this organizational unit are using this application. So do you want me to link the organizational unit to the application? So that is how you can very easily create these context rules and create these application items inside the desktop based on those rules.
So where's that information coming from? That's logistical information, that's knowledge about Active Directory, about group relationships, about OU structures. This is deep level information provided through a free service.
And once I select those rules that I want to use, it will actually create a list for me, like these users have it today, and they will have it tomorrow as well. But you forgot these users because they are outside of these context rules that you have selected. So you have very good control over what people will have tomorrow. And then it asks me where I want to put the apps, so that it puts them in a new place. I simply click finish, and now, based on the information that I discovered with the sampler, based on the analysis that the designer did for me, it will create all those objects inside the workspace for me. So you will see a menu, a managed menu with these items that I just selected inside the Workspace Manager, and that are ready to use. So I didn't have to enter any command lines, I didn't have to enter any information about icons, about security, about context rules. I only answered the wizard that proposed to me the appropriate information. And that is how you can really easily move towards a managed workspace.
So, on behalf of Bob and myself, I want to thank you for sharing your time this morning with us, and I hope you have a great week. Thank you.